The other day, somebody sent this to me, and it made me laugh. It made me laugh hard. It says, normalize ghosting MFs after you already repeatedly told them what bothers you. And when I saw this, I was like, did an Aquarius write this? Because I was cracking up. This sounds like a very Aquarius thing to say, okay? And people get very angry with Aquarius when we ghost them. But I'm here to tell you today that I have a list, all right? And Aquarius do have good reasons for ghosting people sometimes. I'm not going to say it's all the time. Some of the times I think that it's malicious or it's immature. You know, some of the times it's just callous even. But there are other reasons why a person will ghost you. And I've talked about one or two of these, but I was online and I saw a list of them and I was like, oh my God, these are all of the things that Aquarius have been telling me for the past 5-6 years. So I'm going to do the introduction and then I'm going to tell all of you all about the good reasons that people have for ghosting. So, for those of you who do not know me, I am Queen Aset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. Now, one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of people that watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel. So there's a little red button that says subscribe. Please hit that button. If you like my videos, allow me please to earn your subscription. Number 2, there's also a button next to that button that says join. So some of you may be wondering, what is this join button about? Basically what happened was YouTube gave creators, gave us content creators different ways to offer different perks to subscribers to our channel. So if you become a member of the channel, there are 3 different levels. At the first level, you get to see the exclusive video that I do for my patrons. Every time I upload, I do one exclusive video from my patrons. You will get to see that video at the first tier. At the second tier, you will get to see a card of the day. I always pull one, except for on the weekends. And it's like an inspirational card, an oracle card, a tarot card, something just to give you some inspiration, some guidance, some journal prompts, something for the day. You know, something spiritual, something grounding, something good for the day. And at the third tier, you get to be invited to a monthly live stream. This is only for patrons and members at the third tier. Okay, which is kind of cool because we'll get to have a really intimate conversation because it'll be less people. So those will be once a month. All right, so if you would like to find out more about that, or if you would like to become a member of my channel, please hit the join button. All right, so also if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to read some positive comments from previous videos. Please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you want to talk with me or get a reading done, or if you want to get some Ask an Aquarius merchandise, or if you want to become one of my patrons on Patreon, I put all of my information underneath each video. Okay? My social media is there, my email, everything. All right? So let's get started with my ghosting list. All right, so this list I got here, I'm gonna tell you who gave me this list. It's on Instagram, right? And I don't know how to say her name. It's a woman, but it's at, I think it's Nedra, NEDRATAWWAB, and she's on Instagram, and she's also at the same name, www.nedraTAWWAB.com. So she's the one that made the list and posted it. But Aquarius tell me these things all the time. I mean, like, a few times a day. Whenever I say to an Aquarius, you know people don't like it when you ghost them. People get really upset about it. And I've had somebody ghost me before, and I didn't like it. It was very painful, but I wasn't this upset. Because I felt like, well, if you ghosting, deuces, you know? And I always thought to myself, whether it has something to do with me or something to do with their personal life, it's not my business. If they didn't want to be bothered with me, they didn't want to be bothered with me. I think that's a person's right. Because when I don't want to be bothered with somebody, I'm not going to be bothered. So I think that's a person's right. So I've seen all of these when I've asked Aquarius about them. So I'm going to tell you, and we're going to have a little powwow about them. The first one says, ghosting someone can be a way of saying, this relationship is not working for me. Now, you might say to yourself, why don't you just tell the person the relationship is not working for you? In some cases, as you're getting ready to see, they may have tried, or they may have said it to you and you decided to blow it off, or they might not know how, they might not want to hurt your feelings. It's a lot of reasons why somebody won't say to you, this is not working for me. And it's not always because they hate you or because they don't care. There are, like I just said, some reasons that are much more understandable. Number 2, I don't like you as much as you like me. Now, this one, I was like, this is a hard one, because how do you say that to somebody? A lot of people will ghost you because of that, because they don't want to tell you, hey, I don't really like you that much. You know? Some people would rather they just say that, but some people don't know how to, or they don't want to. They don't want to hurt somebody like that, so they just don't say anything at all. And I've seen this happen a number of times as well. Sometimes the kindest thing to say in an Aquarius's mind is nothing at all. You're hard to talk to, and I can't be honest. So if a person has tried to be honest with you and communicating with you has been difficult for whatever reason, could be because you choose to be, or it could be because y'all don't communicate on the same vibe. It could be a lot of reasons. But if the person finds you to be hard to talk to and they really can't be honest with you, they might not tell you deuces. They might just go. Because how am I going to tell this person anything? How am I going to tell them anything when they're hard to talk to? So some people will just be like, well, look, it is what it is, you know? And they feel like they can't be honest with you because you're going to trip, or you're not going to listen, or you're going to want to argue. It's a lot of reasons why a person would feel that way. And then they just feel like they don't say anything at all. I'm tired of you not changing after being clear about my needs. Now, this is a big one I hear a lot from Aquarius. Aquarius is like, look, like in the first quote that I said at the beginning of this video, a lot of Aquarius will say to me, I told them my needs. I told them the problems. I talked to them. We've been talking about this till I'm blue in the face. You know, they'll be like, we talked about this time and time again, and nothing has changed. It's like they didn't even hear what I said. Okay? And this is what I'm talking about. So they get tired of it. They get tired of asking. They get tired of begging. They get tired of crying. They get tired of pleading. And they just like, all right, well, you know what? I'm out. I've stated my needs. They're being ignored. They're being rejected. I'm miserable in this relationship. This person is not listening to me. I remember I was watching a movie the other day, and the wife was trying to tell the husband. The wife was having an affair. She was a sex addict, and she was having an affair with 2 other men. And she was trying to tell the husband, and the husband was not listening to her. He was not listening to her needs. He was not comprehending. She was like, oh, we have a problem. He's like, oh, we don't have a problem. Everything is fine. Let's go have some French wine. You know, he was in total denial about the whole thing, and she was trying to talk to him. So this is a very similar situation. It's like, I've been clear with you about my needs, and you're not listening to me, so I'm tired of talking now. And a lot of Aquarius at this point are gone. They're either gone emotionally, they detach, or they detach themselves and they just ghost. I'm not ready for a relationship. How many times have you told a person you were not ready for a relationship, and then they did everything in their power to get you into a relationship. I've had this happen to me, and I've probably done it myself. I remember doing it at least one time, and maybe more, but I've had this happen to me. You tell the person, I'm not ready for a relationship, and they keep on pushing a relationship agenda on you. Now you're the bad guy. Okay? Now you're the bad guy because you don't want the relationship that this person wants. A lot of us have done this. I can be honest with you and say it's been me, and I'm sure some of you have done this as well. So sometimes when a person finds themselves in this situation and the other person isn't listening to, I don't want a relationship, then that person might ghost. I told you 14 times I didn't want a relationship. The day we met, I told you I didn't want a relationship. Yesterday when you asked me, I told you I didn't want a relationship. And you keep pushing this concept on me, talking about us and the future, when I'm telling you I'm not ready for a relationship. And when a person tells you that, you really should listen. Because that could change. They could become ready over time, but you cannot bank on that. If they told you they're not ready for a relationship and you want a relationship, that's not a person you should date. Leave that person alone. They're letting you know that they don't want what you want up front. You make me feel uncomfortable. How are you going to be honest with somebody about the fact that you don't want to deal with them no more when they make you uncomfortable? They're intimidating, either violently or whatever the case is. It's a lot of ways a person can make you feel uncomfortable. So let's say you decided to break up with your girlfriend, but every time you go talk to her about anything even revolving around that, she's flattened your tires, busted your windows, y'all get into an altercation, or she snaps out, threatens to hurt herself, or God knows, or hurt you, If that happened every time and you feel uncomfortable, like, I don't think I should go talk to her again. The last time they called the police, okay? That kind of person might ghost you. And you might be sitting there like, this mother never even called me, didn't come back, didn't text me, because they feel uncomfortable. They thought you was going to do something to them or snap or something, so they pieced out without talking to you, because last time you acted crazy. Last time it didn't go so well, So that's another time somebody will ghost you. And all of these so far, I really do understand. I've either done them or I understand them. It's me, not you. So this is a situation, and when I thought of this, it made me giggle, because I always tell people this. Whenever I broke up with anybody, I always said it was me and not you. I always said that. It's like, this is me. And sometimes it was. And sometimes I just said that because I didn't want to tell the person how awful they really were. I didn't want to crush them. I didn't want to hurt them. I didn't think that was cool. So I just didn't say it. I just it's me. It's not you. You're great. You're fine. It's just all me. So in this case, when it really is me and not you, this kind of person might choose to ghost. Instead of having that conversation, they might think to themselves, you know what? I'm not good for this person. I remember a long time ago, I had this client, and he was in a relationship with this woman, and she was basically entangled. He was entangled with this woman. Okay, so he was entangled with one woman. He had a girlfriend, and he had a wife, and he had a woman who was pregnant by him. Okay, and the one he was entangled with, he told me was a really, really decent person. I don't know about the other ones, but he said the one that he was entangled with was a really good person, and he felt like he was an asshole, basically, for messing with this good person. She was a church girl and, all that kind of stuff. And she was really nice, came from a good family. So he said that, instead of telling her, quite frankly, I'm a dog and I have all these other women and I've been lying to you, he just ghosted her. And some would say he should have told her the truth. I agree with you 100%. I do think he should have told her the truth. But he didn't want to. He didn't want to hurt her feelings, number one. Remember I said she was a really nice girl? He didn't want to hurt her feelings. And he didn't want to own up to how fucked up he really was. So instead of doing that, saying, I'm screwed up, it's not you. He just ghosted, you know? And in this particular case, I really wish he had said something to her, but I understand why he did not. He didn't want to hurt the girl. And she was really nice, like from what he told me. I never met her. But she was a nice girl. He didn't want to hurt her. The next one says, I can't hold space for you. So this is kind of like the it's me, not you. The person knows they can't hold the space for you that you need. I know I'm not what you need. I know you need somebody right now to hold a certain space for you. You need somebody to, help you through something, or you need somebody to talk to, or you need a partner to build with. You need something. You need me to hold a space that I cannot hold. And 9 times out of 10, with most of these situations, this person has hinted at or told us this, and we still tried to keep going forward. So this kind of person, knowing they can't hold the space, they're trying to hold the space, they done told you they can't hold the space, you still trying to push it for the space, and finally they say, you know what, I'm going to disappear. And that's what they do. They just disappear. And when an Aquarius disappears like this, we usually, when an Aquarius goes, it depends, it's levels to it. Some Aquarius goes to the point where they just stop calling you. Some Aquarius just stop calling you, stop taking your phone calls, stop responding to you, basically, or initiating conversation. Other Aquarius will leave town, leave the country, Other Aquarius will block you. Blocking is one of Aquarius' favorite tools. I use it a lot. Because once I don't want to hear what you got to say, I don't want to hear what you got to say, So a lot of people do that. It's just like, click. I love the block button. It's kind of like silence. The person could be yak, 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 and you click that button and you don't hear nothing else. Just flat silence. I love it. So different Aquarius do that in different ways. But like I said, in this case, they can't hold space for you. And they've either told you or not. And they ghost, they disappear. I would rather somebody ghost me who can't hold space for me than pretend to hold space for me. If you know you can't do it, then just don't do it. Don't pretend to do it, And that's what a lot of people will do. They don't want to hurt your feelings, so they'll just pretend to hold space. They'll pretend to be your partner. They'll pretend to listen. I would rather a person leave me, ghost me, than pretend and have me thinking that we solid and we're not. And the last one says, I've said no and you won't listen. This goes back to the other one where I said the person is telling you X, Y, and Z and you refuse to listen. In this case, they straight up said no. Whatever the situation or whatever it is, you ask them for something, they don't want to do it. You want to have a baby and they don't. You want money, whatever. You've asked for something, they've said no, and you keep pushing. And I know I'm guilty of this because I don't really hear no. What do you mean no? What does that mean? That's foreign to me. And you got to mean no when dealing with me. If you say no, you better mean it, And you're going to have to push that no. So I can totally understand this one. This person has said no, and the other person is just not listening. They're not accepting the no. So instead of sitting there fighting with them and going back and forth, they're just like, deuces, I told you no, no meant no, I'm out, So I can understand that one as well. I think that if the person is trying to tell you something that you refuse to listen to and they ghost you, you really have to look at your part in that, because it's like they did tell you. That's not a true ghosting. To me, if somebody tells me I can't do this and I keep trying to make them do it or plead with them or beg them or manipulate them, that's not true ghosting to me. To me, true ghosting is when everything is going fine, everything is going great, and all of a sudden the person just disappears. There's no argument, there's no fight, and I hear these all the time. There's no argument, there's no fight, the person's not sick, they're not dead, they just stop talking to you for no reason. To me, that is truly ghosting. If you got ghosted because you were doing any of these behaviors on this list, I don't really feel like that person ghosted you. I feel like that person was telling you repeatedly in some of these cases, and you just chose not to accept it. So I think some Aquarius have a good reason for ghosting. And I said some because some people, and anybody can ghost. It's not just Aquarius that ghosts. We're just the sign that's known for ghosting. And I think that some people ghost for malicious reasons, and I don't think they always are. Like, for example, if somebody ghosts you simply because of the fact that they're just being selfish, they don't care about your feelings, they're tired of being with you, or I played with him, I played with her, I'm sick of them, I'm ghosting them. That kind of thing to me is malicious. I don't think there's a good reason for that. You can tell the person, I'm out, but I think that if it's malicious, that's when I agree with people. I have a problem with it. But when it's not malicious, it's one of those other reasons, then I'm like, well, you weren't truly ghosted because they did tell you. You just chose not to accept it. All right, let's get some positive comments going on. Lily, what's up, girl? My girl, what's up? Lily said, I think this is the problem for Aquarius. We may not be in love, but the person feels we may be because of the way we treat them. Aquarius, what do y'all think? So Aquarius out there, this is Lily's question to you guys. Please respond in the comment section. Do you think that this could possibly happen? I have had this happen to me before. I've had people who thought I was in love with them, and I was just being, me. That's how I am in a relationship. I wasn't in love with them at that point. I might have been open to them, or might have been even warming up to the concept, but I've had people think that because of how I treat them, and I believe in treating people a certain kind of way if I'm in love with them or not. And some people have never experienced that. So what do you think, Aquarius? Have you ever had that happen to you? And the last one is from Julie. Julie Burgess. Hey, Julie. Julie said, I'm a Cancer from Australia. Ooh, down under. What's up? Okay. I've always wanted to see Australia and New Zealand, so that's cool. She said, no, you don't think much of our claws. If I was there, I would give you a gentle nip. Beautiful Aquarius, enjoy. Now, this made me laugh. This really does make me laugh because every so often I have to tell Cancers and Capricorns that I actually do not dislike them, because I get a lot of messages from Cancers who think that I don't like Cancers. So when I saw this, it made me giggle because the playful way that she put it. But it made me giggle because I was like, I have to remember to remind my Cancers out there that I do not dislike Cancers. I got to remind you guys of that every so often. I've had about 20, maybe 15, 20 Cancers over the past 5 years write me letters apologizing for the behavior of the Cancers that I dealt with in the past. And I always tell them the same thing. Number one, every sign has positive and negative. And these Cancers that have wrote me are the positive of the sign, the nurturing of the sign, the caring of the sign, and I really appreciated that. But I always told them, it's not your fault that I chose to hang out with people who weren't decent. That is not your fault. It is not your fault that I messed with people that I should not have even talked to, and that's not a Cancer thing. They just so happen to be Cancers. The two Cancers that I'm talking about that I had entanglements with, they just so happen to be Cancers. But their problem wasn't being a Cancer. Their problem was mental health issues. He is a narcissistic sociopath, and she has problems with alcohol. Okay? So it's not that they're a Cancer, it's that they have mental health problems. So I always have to make sure I remind my Cancers that I do love you. I have a lot of Cancers that I hang out with and care very much about. And Capricorns too. Capricorns get very angry with me. And I'm like, look, I'm surrounded by Capricorns. It's not that I don't like you guys. It's that I've had some difficult relationships with certain ones. But that's not everybody. Like I said, there's positive and there's negative in every sign, And I always say this because sometimes as an Aquarius, people will not like me because I'm Aquarius. And I'll be like, what did I do to you? And they'll be talking about some person they slept with in 1975 that did them dirty. And I'm like, yo, that's not cool. But then I realized I do the same thing. At that time, that was a couple years ago, I realized, well, if you don't like people doing that to you, then you can't do that to people that you've had interactions with. You have to remember the positive and negative of every sign. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there. Julie made me remember that, and I wanted to give some Cancer love and some Capricorn love and love to the entire zodiac, and let you know that there's not one sign that I have written off. You know, I will talk to people of any sign. Is the question is, are you a good person or are you a bad person? It doesn't matter what your sign is, you know. Either way, if you're in that good category, you in that cool category, then I'm with you. All right, guys, it's time for us to get going, but you come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.